Hello and welcome viewers. You're watching Perspective with your host Kriti Mishra. Deepfake has emerged as a serious threat to democracy and social institutions across the world. Propagation of deepfake content via social media platforms has aggravated this challenge. Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has from time to time advised social media platforms to exercise due diligence and take expeditious action against deepfake. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav recently interacted with representatives from academia, industry bodies and social media companies on the need to ensure effective response to deepfake. It was further agreed that within next 10 days, actionable items on 4 pillars would be identified, including detection, prevention, reporting and creating awareness. The centre will also soon appoint an officer to take appropriate action against such content. And for deeper insights on combating the challenge of deepfakes, I'm joined by an illustrious panel of guests. Joining us through virtual platform, Dr. Sandip Chatterjee, Scientist G and Group Coordinator, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Also joining us, Professor Chetan Arora, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Delhi. I welcome both of you to Sansad TV and thank you so much for joining us. And Dr. Chatterjee, let me begin the program with you. Amid the rising use of deepfakes using artificial intelligence, Prime Minister Narendra Modi told G20 leaders during the virtual summit that AI should be developed keeping people's needs in mind and called deepfake a big concern. The collaborative effort signifies India's commitment to addressing the deepfake challenge promptly and comprehensively. Your opening thoughts on India leading the fight against the misuse of AI in deepfakes?
You see that deepfake is actually a form of synthetic media and developed through artificial intelligence, especially technique like deep learning algorithm. But this AI is a technology, is disruptive technology. This has changes different aspects of our life, society, and it has various usable aspects. So deepfake is one of the challenge if there's this technology has been used by the rogue actors. Actually, this technology can create videos, visuals, audios, content in a manipulative way to appear to be very authentic. So using this technology, one can make the different type of learning videos, tutorials, movie, film. So those things are can be used for a better quality of educations and entertainment in the world, in the society. But if these deepfakes are used, this technology is used, making some celebrities in a bad light and creating different type of images which is unlawful, and contents also unlawful, and the speech which was never occurred. So those things are actually a real challenge, and we have found that few years this has enhanced a different magnitude because of the technology availability and vast internet access in our country. Data is very cost effective, cheap in our country. So these are the good part of our society. Our society is going to the actual digital technology enabling is, as the Honorable Prime Minister envisioned in 2014 onwards. And our ministry is coming out with the Digital India technology, digital payment also we promoted. So this is growing. So with this technological innovation, these are the new challenges are coming. Of course, IT Act, as you know, it was there from 2000, and we have a different type of IT rules. So 2021 rules for IT intermediaries having a due diligence, which they should do, because earlier, if you see in the IT Act 79(1) is giving some immunity to the social media platform, that for content they are not responsible. But in our IT Act, in 71 should be read with the 71(2) and 71(3). In 71(2) and 71(3) are for their due diligence. So their platform should not be used by other technology or content developer for creating misinformation, deepfake videos, all the contents. So for that, it is not the content developer, the intermediaries who are proliferating this in a vast scale, they are also responsible. So that is our honorable minister yesterday was sensitizing that due diligence provision is already there, and our ministry is exploring the possibility how that we can make more stringent.
Well, absolutely, sir. And before I talk about the IT rules, so the government has also unveiled a 4-point plan to tackle the deepfake crisis or the threat. Take us through that action plan, sir.
If you see the again IT rule, there are different grievance addressing mechanism. If the aggrieved can see that this is the content not appropriate and it is defaming him or her, then there is a grievance officer. We ensure from 2021 intermediaries, so they can approach the grievance officer within 36 hours. They should take down the content. This is one provision. Of course, I told earlier that it is a due diligence of the intermediaries they should do on their own. They can use the different type of machine language and AI tools to find out those content. And they are doing for other issues like child pornography and gang rape. Those videos, Supreme Court has also told you should not have in this platform. So they are doing diligently. We have a very good results. But if you see all other, funny videos demeaning some celebrities, they are not being done aggressively. So we are issuing the advisories time to time. Last 2 months, we have issued 4 different advisories. And also the aggrieved can go to the grievance officer of the social media intermediaries. And then if it is not addressed there, our ministry has come out with a grievance appellate committee, GSE. So they can approach to the GSE. It is digital by design. Everything should be on online. So online hearing will be there. Both the party GSE can call and come out with a decision. So that decision should be obeyed by intermediaries. And if they found that intermediaries are not at fault, then it can be convinced to the aggrieved party. So this is the mechanism already existing in our country under IT rules.
Well, absolutely. And thank you so much, Dr. Chatterjee, for setting the tone and tenor of this discussion. But Professor Arora, we've been talking about having a stricter regulatory mechanism with penalties of fiscal and criminal nature. In fact, the centre will also appoint an officer to take appropriate action against such content. Do you think that this is a very important move for ensuring zero tolerance for violation of IT rules, as Dr. Chatterjee mentioned?
See, I think we have to also understand the broader context in which we are speaking. So as Dr. Chatterjee has mentioned, so this generative AI is, let's say, one part, or this capability is one part of the, so the deepfake is really part of this generative AI broad framework that we are talking about. And the generative AI as such is amplifying the creativity. Now, of course, this creativity can be used for the positive purposes, for increasing the efficiency, productivity, etc. And the creativity can also be used for the mischievous purposes. I mean, through spread misinformation or the pornography, as Dr. Chatterjee was mentioning. So, I mean, just like any, let's say, the strong, powerful technology that we have seen in the past. So the generative AI or the deepfake is, let's say, the negative part of it. So generative AI has the positive aspect and the negative aspect. So any legal provisions that we are making, we have to be very careful that we are not, let's say, stymieing the growth of the generative AI or let's say, the growth of the AI in general in the Indian context. So understood. So deepfake is very dangerous. It can cause social harmony. And I think what ministry is already doing, I think, are the steps in the right direction. We have to sensitize the public that this is illegal, the generation of the deepfakes and circulation of the deepfakes. We have to sensitize the public. We have to also, as Dr. Chatterjee is mentioning, enforce either through the legal provisions or by nudging the platforms, different kind of the social media platform, that there has to be effective detection mechanism in place. So detection, prevention, alertness. I mean, so all the 4 pillars that you mentioned in your initial discussion, I think these are very important to really handle this stuff. But let's also understand that this is also in some sense a moving goalpost. The technology is still evolving. I mean, we have not seen the end of the deepfake or the end of the generative AI as of now. It's a very quickly evolving concept, which means that all these four pillars have to also keep evolving with the generative AI as we see. So we have seen now the chat GPTs and the teles, etc. So these tools will keep on evolving themselves, and their capability to create new kinds of deepfake or creating, let's say, the possibilities of creating different kinds of misinformation will also keep growing in their, let's say, the vastness or in their breadth. So we have to sort of keep our guards up. We have to keep evolving ourselves as the dangers also evolve. So we are not denying that this is definitely a dangerous aspect of the generative AI. But I guess if we keep our guards up, if we develop effective tools for detecting it, we create enough legal provision to, let's say, as a provisions, I think we will be able to handle this danger also.
Absolutely, sir. We'll be able to handle this situation. But also, Professor Arora, this is a global problem, a global challenge. So have you studied how other nations are responding to this situation?
As I said, that this is a very quickly evolving field. So there are continuous research that is being done actually from the both side. I mean, just like the cat and mouse game. So there are different deepfake technologies that are being proposed. I mean, different algorithms. Similarly, there are different what we call the digital forensics to really detect such kind of media also. But I mean, it's just like a generation. So you see one generation of algorithm which is proposing one particular kind of deepfake, and then an algorithm which detects it, and then you have the next generation of algorithm which is sort of able to fool this algorithm. So this is right now just a one-upmanship. I mean, we are just in this race at this moment. So as I said, I mean, we have to keep our guards continuously up. We are developing new algorithms for it. I mean, at IIT Delhi also, and the Indian academic system, we are generating new techniques to detect these deepfakes. But let's also understand that the capability to generate deepfakes is also improving as we are improving our algorithms to detect them. So it's still right now a challenge that we are continuously facing.
Oh, well, absolutely. And as you mentioned that this is a dynamic situation. But Dr. Chatterjee, there's discussion on also disallowing apps that enable making deepfake videos. Will this move be more effective in countering the deepfake menace?
Actually, the discussion you refer with our honorable ministers, we discussed this point also. But if you see the IT rules, they are also one type of intermediaries. Gaming app is also one type of intermediaries.
Yes.
If you are giving a service, a platform, it is from app or any website. So you are under ambit of this IT rules and IT Act. So they should see what type of tools they are giving, free tools, which are being used for creating this type of videos and or audios or different type of animated things, and also the responsibility, due diligence. You cannot shrug off from whatever has been there in the rules. So at least it is a basic a baseline obligation. The prevention should not create a user harm. This is a baseline. So if you are creating a user harm, your ambit of the rules already it is been there from 2021. So actually interpretation, as professor says, since the technology is evolving, different types of apps are coming. They are not very much adequately, recognize they are in the game or they are out of the game. Because if they are giving any service, there should be called as an intermediaries. And if you are termed as an intermediaries, you are coming under the IT rules. And there it is saying that if you are doing a user harm, and if you are doing a significant multimedia intermediaries, then you have to receiving complaint how long, the 36 hours, you are taking down that content or not. If it's intermediary doing the reasonable efforts, so in the reasonable efforts, it means that what type of tools you are using in your app to see that the content developer are not creating anything which is unlawful. So these things are there in the lab, and whoever is creating or providing this type of tools, they should know they are used in a positive purpose. It is not giving a negative things. So and also if it is impersonation of somebody under 66D, there is a penalty provision. So, and also if you have a breaching the IP Act, intellectual property, there is a provision in under DPIAT. So in some of the things come under the IPC as well. So if it is a defamation or creating something which is actually harming his reputation, so this will attract the other Indian rules. So provision is already there. As Professor mentioned, the technology is changing. Awareness for the users and awareness for the developer, and also the awareness for the new upcoming intermediaries. So this sensitization is somehow lacking in the entire system, and we can understand, since it is a growing internet field, technology is also changing. Users are coming from the different backgrounds, and this is good that we are allowing all sorts of startup company to give this type of solution, but this has some gray shades or bad sides. They should know what should not be done and what can be done. So this type of sensitization, I think it is an evolving stage. So every new economy is facing this. As you mentioned, that is there any rules or regulation in the globally available? Yes, there is an executive order USA has come up with very recently, and there is a regulation in Israel for Photoshop has come up. So there are, if you say that we are coming out with specifically IT rules, as our honorable ministers told yesterday, so that will be the very first in the world. So specifically for deepfake, there is no rule as such. So there is an executive order in USA and one guideline in Israel. So we are also studying different type of best practices, how they are regulating it in Europe and other major economy. So this is a learning for lawmakers as well.
Well, absolutely. Since you said this is a global problem, so it's best to share and adopt global best practices. But the issue is also of compliance. Professor Arora, the government's advisory sent to social media platforms a few days ago sternly warned them that failing to promptly remove the deepfake content from their platforms could lead to consequences such as losing safe harbor provisions. Now, for the benefit of our viewers, safe harbor provisions grant legal protection to internet platforms against user-generated content. Professor Arora, do you think the move will lead to strict compliance by the social media companies within our country?
See, I think I have perhaps already mentioned, but I will re-emphasize this aspect. So we also should understand that this generative AI, for which one aspect that we are seeing, the deepfake, is a dual-use technology. I mean, I could have used, for example, the example that you took, the face. I mean, I could use my face and do a Photoshop or use this, let's say, so-called the deepfake technology to improve my appearance and let's say put it on my perform or somewhere. Now, that's a positive aspect of it. And the same thing, I can say that I took somebody else's face and put it in somebody other context. So as far as the technology is concerned, we are talking about the identical technology, but the purpose which it has been used for is different. So we have to be very careful in also not overdoing the thing. So we have to be careful that there are some genuine good usage of this technology, the ability to create the synthetic media and the synthetic text and etc. And there are, of course, the negative aspects of it also. So whenever we are creating, I think that the government is doing right in that manner, that we have to be careful that it's not that I can put a blanket ban that, okay, any kind of photoshopping of the image is just banned and I cannot use it. So we have to be careful that a specific kind of misinformation or specific kind of defamation, so it has to be banned as per the application of it and not as the technology. So let's be very clear on that. So if we are actually let's say overhyping this deepfake, and there is a chance that we just become a little too strict and we actually kill the industry that could have really benefited from such thing. So the same
very valid point. Very valid point. Absolutely. Let me take that to Dr. Chatterjee. Dr. Chatterjee, the challenge is to separate harmful synthetic content while allowing the harmless ones. How do we strike that balance?
Actually, if you see the last 3-4 years, 90,000 registration for startup.
Yes.
The majority of the startups in this software field, they are creating certain things which is earning revenue. And also we have to know, if we have a bad content, they are having a maximum like. So this is a social issue. If you are creating a dirty video, then it is going viral. So there are some tools, as Professor mentioned, and there are some tools the social media must have, at least the significant social media platforms they are already using to find out. After that, also some of the things they missed. So balance has to be maintained. We cannot, create certain things that artificial intelligence cannot be used for anything. So we should concern about the outcome. We should not concern about the technology evolution. We should allow them to grow, but we should concern about the outcome. That outcome will be visible in the social media. So at least social media should have some tools or continuously augment the tools and their technology so that they quickly address where from this has been generated or multiple sharing has been done. That is possible. And if you see the AI used good contents, it is more than 90%. And we are today discussing about the 10%. So the 10% is harming contents. We should address with the regulation and awareness, how quickly we can detect that. So these are the 4 points our Honorable Minister told. That should be the right approach to address this. And again, I'm saying that existing 79(1) is immunities given to the social media intermediaries. That is how they are doing business in our country. It's a very huge market. So if we are, fixing their issue, and we can issue the intermediaries advisories, and they are abide by the rules, because 79(1), this is the, we should say that this is a protection, they are doing business in our country. So, but for 79(1), they should follow the 79(2) and 3. The due diligence has to be done. For due diligence, they will be doing manually or using tools. That is now their objective. They should do it. Otherwise, government will take a very strict action. There is a mechanism already. You can go for FIR. And n number of time, if you are going and addressing in front of the court, no business community will be interested in that. So they will be abiding by that. We have already sensitized it. And I can say that last 2 months, we have issued more than 4 advisories for various, misinformation. That worked. So I think that it will be addressed. But sensitization, awareness creation, and different type of tools that professors, IIT professor is saying. Yesterday meeting, there was a professors from IIT Jodhpur also, IIT Ropar also. They have also made some tools. So people should use the social media intermediaries are saying that they are working closely with these academicians to find out a solution. And I am sure that if India is coming out this type of tools, in USA they must have developed already those tools, and they can be used. These are all US company mostly, and Indian companies are also using this type of technique to address this problem. I think this balance can be done very well, so that we can grow our economy with a emerging technology. With you see during COVID time, it is the emerging technology has actually excelled our economy. So we cannot stop that to happen, but we should also see the bad element should be eliminated from the social media intermediaries.
Well, absolutely, sir. As you said, that there has to be a perfect balance between the use of emerging technologies, and of course, we have to check the misuse as well. I'm completely out of time, but Professor Arora, I'll give you the floor for your closing remarks.
No, I think it was a very interesting discussion and very useful discussion, I think, for all the audience. So the deepfake is definitely the dangerous technology. It's a negative aspect of the generative AI. But as is happening with the other aspect of the AI, see, the AI is really amplifying our ability to do many things. Now, when it is amplifying our ability to do good things, it's also amplifying our ability to do bad things also. So I guess the government is doing its own part, but it's also up to us, the public, the general public and the audience, that we have to be very alert. I mean, so at this moment, there is the fact that there is a particular image that has come on my some social media account. I just cannot trust it on its face value.
True.
I mean, I have to make my own verification before forwarding or before sending it to the others. So there is a lot of responsibility that has come on the individual also.
Absolutely. So creating awareness, of course, is of paramount importance, but it is the responsibility of each and every citizen. On that note, thank you so much for joining us, Professor Arora and Dr. Chatterjee.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Goodbye for now from my side.